You know what? I'm tired of paying high prices. On day one, Trump's gonna lower them. I ain't paying any more. He's gonna change things day one. That's what he said. I will not pay any more. None of this socialism crap. It's every man for himself. That's what's gonna happen when Donald Trump gets into office.
Do your job! Do your job! Do your job! Do your job!
Guys, I'm at the start of the Hands Off Akron. What a turnout.
We have some news right now. Massive protests are scheduled to break out across the country. More than 1,100 protests are now planned for today. This is the Move On protest, the Hands Off, the Donald Trump, anti-Elon Musk protest. Now, I am here right now at the massive anti-Trump, anti-Musk protest happening right behind me. We're at the National Monument. Look at this. Let me show you the scenes right now.
These protests are coming after Trump crashed the stock market, wiping around $6 trillion from US stock market. This was a result of his reciprocal tariff on almost every other nation in the world. And in cases, he tariffed some islands which have no human population and just penguins. And while he's enjoying playing golf today, JP Morgan has said there is a huge chance of US recession this year, and some companies have started laying off staff in US as well.
Good job, Donald. You got them all working together. Countries we never thought would work together, like China, Japan, and South Korea. They're working together now, all because of you. They're working together to work against us. Great job, buddy. Keep up the good work.
Today I want us to have a real and deep conversation about what's about to go down in America. April 5th is shaping up to be one of the most significant dates in recent US history. Why? Because thousands, maybe even millions of Maga voters are planning to take to the streets in what some are calling the biggest protest the world has ever seen. Now, this isn't your typical protest. This isn't just about one issue. It's about a storm of problems that have hit ordinary Americans hard. We are talking about a harsh economy, rising job layoffs, mass deportations of immigrants, damaging tariffs, and an overall sense that life is becoming more difficult and uncertain by the day. The irony, most of the people protesting are the very same people who voted for Trump. They are the same individuals who rallied behind him, wore the red caps proudly, and believed he was the answer to all of America's problems. But now it seems reality is setting in, and the consequences of that decisions are starting to sting.
These are the actions that have been taken by the Trump administration, and you should be fed up with the following: cuts to healthcare, Social Security reductions, education funding slashed, threats to democracy, workers' rights eroded, billionaire tax breaks, government efficiency overreach, and public service dismantling. But wait, there's more. Medicaid gutted, consumer protections removed, federal worker layoffs, economic inequality rise, power grab resistance, essential program cuts, corporate agenda push, environmental regulation rollback, voting rights suppression, housing assistance cuts, food stamp reductions, labor union attacks, public transit defunding, childcare support slashed, wealth concentration growth, judicial independence threats, and media freedom erosion. One last thing. I'm personally fed up that Donald Trump didn't reveal his actual plans until he was already elected. These are all the things that he didn't reveal till after the election, basically deceiving his entire voter base. I guarantee you people wouldn't have elected him if he did reveal these things. So it's one massive deception campaign. He didn't reveal the following: annexing Greenland, annexing Canada, reclaiming the Panama Canal, tariffs on all nations, reporters and military strikes, dismantling education department, gutting clean energy programs, revoking EV infrastructure plans, and independent agency oversight. But wait, there's more to this too. Sanctions on law firms, National Energy Dominance Council, revoking the Defense Production Act uses, ending TSA union agreements, revoking mifepristone approvals, freezing foreign aid, shutting immigration pathways, and targeting academic research policies. Almost done. Revoking green bank grants, Cutting federal workforce, suspending high-speed rail, reducing Pentagon climate focus, limiting HIV agency funds, revoking transgender sports policies, deportation via 1798 law, and AI global leadership push. After being aware of all this, how can any freedom-loving, constitution-loving, democracy-loving American not be fed up with what's going on in our country right now? If you're aware of everything that I just mentioned, and if you follow the news and you're aware of everything that the Trump administration has done, how can you possibly still support him?
History is not what is behind us. History is not what has happened. History is what is happening right now.
Well, let's talk about the economy pain first. Job layoffs are happening left and right. Major companies are downsizing. Small businesses are shutting down, and inflation is making it hard for families to afford basic necessities. When you vote for policies that isolate your country from the global economy, eventually the impact hits home. Tariffs that were supposed to protect American jobs have actually made some goods more expensive and limited to trade opportunities. And then there's the job market. Technology is advancing. AI is taking over roles that humans once filled. And instead of investing in the future and creating new paths for employment, the focus has been on the nationalism and fear mongering. That doesn't put food on the table. That doesn't pay the bills. People are being laid off from industries that were once considered secure. Even tech companies and healthcare providers are letting go of workers due to reduced profits and increased costs. Families are forced to stretch every dollar, and many are falling into debt just trying to survive.
You have the power to change it. How do I know that you have the power? Because I have a unique view. By having some influence in social media, and I'm not saying it's much, but by having enough to see videos go viral, what I get to see is the response from the bots of the right wing. And what those bots, accounts with 0 followers, following 0, just created, who show up at the exact same time in my timeline, and 10 of them have the exact same thing to say. What are they saying? Don't march. It doesn't make a difference. Be afraid. The bots, the radical right, the Trump-supporting propagandist machine is telling you to stay on the sidelines. But as somebody commented on a video the other day, and thank you for doing so, there are no more sidelines. We are all in the game. It is time to pick a side. If you have ever watched a movie like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, or a more realistic one like Glory or Saving Private Ryan, or if you've ever looked at a historical figure like Martin Luther King Jr. or Abraham Lincoln and thought, would I have it in me to rise in that moment of history and find my greatness, find my courage to meet the moment and make a difference? I am telling you, the time is now, and they want you out of it. They want you at home. They want you believing you don't make a difference. That's how I know you have the power, because they are scared of it. They know that if tomorrow we march en masse by the millions, first of all, we will see each other. And there is great power in that. Do not underestimate the power of seeing each other, of overcoming geographical distance and the distance between us in our different paths to get here, to find our unity. When we see each other tomorrow through our platforms and media and phones and recognize that we are one despite our difference, we will feel our own power. And so too, don't underestimate the power of making a difference, even to the craven, corrupt politicians on the right. Not because we will turn on their goodness all of a sudden, but because we can ring the bell of their self-interest when they begin to see that we are America, that we are the power, that we are what's coming. They will begin to change. Let us remind Donald Trump and Elon Musk and all the Republicans in Congress tomorrow that it is our country, that it is our people, and that it is our time.
Good morning, everyone. It is April 5th, and it is protest day. So I am wearing my Isn't It Past Your Jail Time shirt, And I have my sign ready. Let me show you. So here's my sign. The hottest places in hell are reserved for those who, in times of great moral crisis, maintain their neutrality, which is a quote by Dante. And then on the back, I have we resist, build, and rise. So that is my sign. I am getting ready to drive over to the train to go into DC, and let's get out and stand up for our country.
Well, let's move to another major issue, mass deportations. Immigrants have long been a backbone of the US economy. They work in agriculture, construction, caregiving, and countless other sectors. They do jobs many Americans don't want to do. And now, with so many being deported, we are seeing labor shortages, businesses struggling to operate, and entire communities living in fear. And here's the kicker. Many of the people protesting on April 5th are now realizing that those same immigrants they wanted out were actually holding up parts of the economy. You remove them, and now you have crops going unharvested, homes not being built, elderly people not being cared for. Reality is hitting hard. Not to mention the emotional and social toll this takes. Children are being separated from their parents. Communities are living in fear of ICE raids, and trust in the system is rapidly eroding. This isn't just bad economics, it's bad humanity. Tariffs and trade wars. Trump's trade policies were supposed to be about putting America first. But what they did was isolate the country from allies and trading partners. Now, countries like China and Canada are collaborating with other nations to strengthen their markets, expand their influence, and build new alliances. While America is protesting, other nations are progressing. Canada is joining forces with Europe and Asia for stronger trade deals. China is expanding its influence in Africa and Latin America. They are taking advantage of America's chaos and turning it into opportunity for themselves. That is the game of global politics. While some Americans are stuck in their echo chambers, the rest of the world is moving forward. The damage goes beyond lost trade deals. American farmers have been hit hard by retaliatory tariffs. Factories that relied on imported parts are paying more and producing less. Consumers are bearing the brunt of rising prices, and trust in American leadership on the world stage is crumbling. Americans were warned. People said this would happen. Economists, analysts, activists, and even political opponents pointed out the dangers of putting all your trust into one man who thrived on vision, who pushed policies based on emotion rather than logic. But many ignored these warnings. Instead, they voted out of frustration, anger, or nostalgia for an American that frankly never existed the way they remembered it. Now they're dealing with the fallout. This is what happens when misinformation wins. When voters prioritize slogans over substance, emotions over evidence, and ideology over truth. America was warned, and now it's paying the price. Let's not forget about the global perspective. Other countries are watching, and some are laughing. They are seeing Americans in chaos, divided, struggling with their own choices. They see a country that once stood as a beacon of stability and leadership now dealing with unrest and regret. Some countries are even benefiting from the situation. While America argues about who to blame, other nations are building, trading, investing, and creating. They are using this moment of American weakness to strengthen their own positions on the world stage. And that should be a wake-up call. Look at India, which has become a growing tech hub, offering companies stability and innovation. Look at Brazil, improving its infrastructure to attract foreign investment. Even small nations are finding ways to step up as America turns inward. Well, the biggest question is, will this massive protest on April 5th change anything? Will millions of people shouting in the streets reverse economic policies, bring back jobs, or stop deportations? Maybe it will bring awareness. Maybe it will force the media and lawmakers to take notice. But real change, that requires more than just a protest. It requires accountability. It requires people to admit they were wrong and to demand better leadership, not just louder slogans. The truth is, this protest could easily become a symbolic moment, not of unity, but of regret. A moment when America realized too late that they chose a path that was never really about helping the people. It was about power. and now the people are paying the price. So what can we learn from this? First, never underestimate the power of your vote. Every election matters. Don't vote just to own the other side. Vote for policies that will uplift everyone, not just a selection few. Second, leadership is not about bravado. It's not about who can yell the loudest or insult the most people. Leadership is about wisdom, compassion, and vision. America needs leaders who think long-term, who care about the people, who understand the complexities of the world. Third, we have to stop seeing politics as a team sport. This isn't red versus blue. This is about people's lives, about families trying to survive, about communities being torn apart. Fourth, we must educate ourselves. We live in a time where information is everywhere, but so is misinformation. It's up to us to fact check, to learn, and to hold ourselves accountable for what we believe and how we can act on it. Fifth, healing must start somewhere. This protest could be the spark, but what follows must be a commitment to dialogue, to listen, and to rebuild trust, not only between politicians and citizens, but among each other. Let's hope that out of this protest comes reflection, honesty, and renewed desire for unity. Because if this doesn't wake people up, I don't know what will. To my viewers around the world, what are your thoughts? Are you surprised by what's happening in America? Do you see similar patterns in your country? Let's talk in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay informed, stay aware, and always stay bold. And until next time, bye-bye.